Sensei Dillman started teaching, I think he started running a karate club while he was in the military back in the 60s. And the first name for his school was called Chikara Dojo. Chikara is a Japanese word that means something like strength. And then he ended up moving and ended up in Reading, Pennsylvania, wanted to open a commercial school. And somebody who knew something about business said to him, you can't name your school Chikara Dojo because no one will be able to remember that. You need to give it a name that's easy for people to remember. And that's how he switched from Chikara Dojo to Dillman Karate International. Well, originally Dillman Karate Institutes. It would just be a big sign. He had a building that was right on the freeway. People would go by, big sign, Dillman Karate Institute. Easy to remember. Somebody says, I want to learn karate. They go and they look that up on in their phone book, back in the day of phone books. Remember those things? They'd look that up, Dillman Karate International. Oh, that's that one. He'd go to a demonstration somewhere. He'd say, I'm George Dillman from Dillman Karate Institute. Right? So that when people went to look for him later, they start, I think I want to take karate. There's 5 or 6 schools, but one of them is Dillman Karate Institute, the one they remember. Ah, he's the one. I liked him. I want to go to his school. I did not want students, so I did exactly the opposite. I named my group Kyusho Jitsu Kenkyukai. Now, by the way, that name is very meaningful. Kyusho Jitsu, obviously pressure point fighting. Kenkyukai is a term that means research group. Because that's what we do. We research pressure point fighting, constantly trying to advance the art. Not just learn it, but advance it. And Kenkyukai were, when karate in Okinawa began to move out from the shadows and into the public, different senior practitioners started to gather together in these Kenkyukai. They formed research groups so they could work together and learn from each other and advance the art of Okinawan karate. They did this. And so Kenkyukai is a very meaningful term for me. Describes what I do, what I learned to do from my teacher, how I was taught, the values that were given to me in terms of pressure point techniques. It's not just the technique, but the values that we take when we approach it. And so I picked a meaningful name, but a name which is a mouthful and impossible to remember. And I did that for, because I didn't want students. I tried, but I failed. I ended up with students anyway. By the way, because I teach both Okinawan martial arts and Chinese martial art, Tai Chi Chuan, I have the same problem, worse in Chinese, where the equivalent phrase, pressure point fighting method, research group, is really hard to say and impossible to remember. I'm Chris Thomas. These are some reflections from the MasterClass. If you want to find me online, it's kjk-karate.com. Thanks for watching. Now go train.